What's going on, everybody? Today we are continuing the renovation of our 1976 Airstream Sovereign, and today we're going to be working on fabricating replacement tank pans. Whenever we pulled the pans and the tanks out of ours, they were in really bad shape. They were all rusted through, and on this particular model, the pans were made out of galvanized steel. And so I know on some other ones, I think there's some that are made out of wood, and there's some that are, I think, potentially aluminum. I don't know. I know that there's a little bit of variance there, but ours were all just steel, and so it's pretty easy to just fabricate new ones. So this is what we're working with. I got several sheets of galvanized steel. I believe this is all 18 gauge galvanized steel, and it's a little thicker. I want to say it was around 20 or 22 gauge from the factory. So this is going to provide a little bit more support, but also a little bit more weight. It was kind of the only option at the steel place that I went to. They didn't have 20 gauge, so I had to go with the 18. I don't think it's going to make a huge deal. I'm going to try to do other things, obviously, that'll offset, weight in this regard, so I'm not really concerned. And then is what it had from the factory is they had basically like a frame around the outside with just bar stock, and so I got some of that, so we're going to do that. We're going to start with the pan for the gray tank, because that's the easiest. This one's basically just flat, so we're going to build the frame and then cut everything to size, weld the outside, the flat stock together to create kind of the outside frame. That's where it all bolts up to the frame of the Airstream, and so that just provides that extra support so you don't have it bending and stuff. And so we're going to start there. The other tanks are actually, they have depth to them, and so the pans rather have depth to them, so I'm going to have to either have the pieces bent and formed using a metal brake, whether I do that or take it somewhere and have it fabricated. The only challenge with that is that the biggest sheets I could get are 5 feet in width and length, and that's the exact width of the frame, and so I don't know if bending them is going to work, so I may have to just weld everything together. A little bit more work, but not the end of the world, so we're gonna get started on it. Alright, we got the outside frame cut and all of that fitted. It's all the right size, fits together great. So the next step is just going to be to tack weld it all together. I'm going to tack weld it in place, and then we're going to cut the piece of galvanized sheet to the right size, and then we're going to tack weld the frame to the sheet and flip it, add some welds out there, and then finish welding it. So we're going to get rocking. And there it is. We got it tack welded together. It all lined up pretty much perfectly, which is always good, because you want to, make sure you measure accurately, cut accurately, and the better the metal fits together, the better it's all going to weld together, and the longer it's going to last. So now we're going to measure the galvanized plate and cut that to size. Alright, so we got the sheet measured and marked. Now to cut it. And I'm going to be using the Eastwood electric shears, and these things are pretty fantastic. They'll do, I believe, down to like 16 gauge, and they cut really awesome, so gotta check those out. There's a link below if you want to take a look at those. These are great to have if you're working on an Airstream, because you got to cut, aluminum and all sorts of stuff, so highly recommend these. you see, these just cut through it like it was nothing, and this is 18 gauge galvanized steel, so yeah, these things work pretty darn good. Then you get the cool coil spring at the end that you can, you know, do something with, maybe make a decoration or something, who knows. Alright, so we got the piece cut, we got it all fitted up on the frame, so now I'm just going to tack the underside first, and then we're going to flip it over and finish weld on the top side. So the pan all welded up and with all the welds ground down to where it's flush, I now have it in position on the frame. I have basically just 2 floor jacks on either side with blocks of wood that are pushing it up. I got that side up and it's pretty much flush. I'm just going to finish jacking this side up and we'll get it up into position, and then from there there's some screw holes, there's some bolt holes that were pre-existing. There were some where I couldn't get the bolt out, and so they're just ground down and all that's welded up and painted over, so we're going to have to drill new holes. I was going to add probably a couple. One to just kind of overdo things and add a few more bolts than are originally there, just to make things more secure. So we're going to jack this side up, get it into position, and it looks like it fits perfectly, so that is fantastic. Yeah, man, that fits absolutely perfect. It's flush on all the sides. I need to move it just a tiny bit right here. But yeah, man, that turned out great. So now I'm just going to position it and scribe the holes, and then we'll drill it out and we'll be able to put some bolt holes in it, and then we're going to prime it, paint it, and do a rubberized undercoating on the bottom. Alright, so we got the holes drilled now after we had it up in there and positioned, and everything lines up great. The bolt holes all line up and it actually bolts in. So since that's all good, the next step is we're gonna paint it. I'm gonna first prime the top side, which is where the pan sits, and then we're gonna just do like a black enamel on that to get it, just to protect the metal from rusting. There, you know, in theory shouldn't be a lot of water getting in there, but it's an Airstream, so of course it's going to leak. And then on the underside, we're going to flip it and put the rubberized coating on that. So we're just going to start with some just clean metal primer and get to painting. We got it all painted up. It's got the coats of enamel on it, and so we're gonna let it dry overnight, and then tomorrow I'm gonna flip it over and we're gonna do the rubberized coating, and then this tank pan will be done. There's 2 more to go, and unfortunately the other 2 are the harder ones, so it'll take a little bit longer, but we'll get it all knocked out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful and helped you if you're doing Airstream renovation. We got a lot more videos, we got a lot more content coming as we just continue to rebuild this thing. Feel free to subscribe to our channel. We also have an Instagram. We'd love for you to follow us on there. And then we also have a website, theseekfirstadventure.com. So check it out. We need to work on getting more stuff up there, but there's a little bit, and there will hopefully be more whenever you're watching this. So have a good one, and we'll see you next time.